This was our pirate case computer at the end of the last video. We have managed to fix the monitor into the lid using magnetic strips. This gives us enough room to store the Bluetooth keyboard within the case itself. What we're going to look at today is the HDMI cabling and the cooling fans. The monitor has a mini HDMI socket, so we're going to be using one of these. This has a right-angled mini HDMI connector at one end and a standard full-size HDMI connector at the other. The problem with HDMI cables is they are quite thick and not very flexible, so we're going to be using one of these. This is an HDMI ribbon cable, with connectors at both ends to allow us to actually route the cable through the case with the minimum amount of space. If we have a look inside the case, we can see here is our right-angled cable for the HDMI running into the main part of the case. We can connect this to the HDMI ribbon cable. This can be routed quite easily round the side of the Odroid. And the connector going into the HDMI socket at the front of the Odroid itself. As you can see, we've added two 40mm Noctua fans. These are 3-pin fans, so they will go at a constant rate while the computer is actually switched on. The Noctua fans don't actually ship with a Y connector cable, but I had one spare from a previous build for larger Noctua fans, which will do quite nicely. So using the Y cable, we can connect this to the system fan socket on the motherboard. So this will be our intake fan, and this will be the extractor fan. So this leaves enough room above the Odroid for the fitting of a lid. I'm looking to design a lid using 3D printing. And this is the prototype which I've come up with. This is entirely 3D printed. The idea being this will sit on top to allow airflow into the case, but still give the illusion of a pirate case full of gold coins. We've also added in a hole at the top here. This is to accommodate the power switch. You can obtain ready-made wired up switches from Odroid itself, which are these. This switch, which is a momentary switch, is already wired up with the cables to plug in to the GPIO headers. This will fit quite nicely into the lid. These switches are particularly robust and will probably outlive your computer. So as the 3D printer I have is not large enough to print a lid for the entire case, I'm going to print this in 2 halves. And the only question remaining is how we actually fit these onto the case. So the outstanding work is to fit this lid onto the top of the case. And I'm looking to do this using some more 3D printed brackets. These brackets will allow support for the case, and I'm going to be using magnetic strip along the top here so the case lid can be easily removed. These will screw in to the side of the case here. And once this is in place, then the Bluetooth keyboard can be quite easily stored on top and the lid closed. I have resolved a problem with the weight of the monitor in the lid overbalancing the case. As there is now more weight in the lid, the whole case will tend to tip over. I've managed to counterbalance the weight of the monitor by using 2 brass rods fitted into the base of the case. This allows the case to stand without tilting. So we should have one more video in this series in which we complete the lid and the power switch, and we test to see whether our fans can actually handle the heat build-up inside the case itself. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching.